we are live. Hey guys, I'm Wolfie, and today we are going to recap NFL honors. Who won? Who I thought was going to win? Was I wrong? Was I right? There's a couple of things we can talk about there. Hall of Fame. Who's some Hall of Famers out there that who's chosen? Who was left out? That was shocking. And of course, we'll jump into 49ers news of a new defensive coach that has been hired for the San Francisco 49ers. So let's go ahead and jump into that. But of course, as you know, we're brought to you by water. Without it, I wouldn't be here today. Water is good for you. It's good for your skin. It's good for your organs. It's good for your bowels. H2O. It's the way to go. All right. Val in the house, showing what's up. I appreciate you as always. First to show up every time, just a boot. Papa J, the best mana broken ass for. Thank you so much and showing some love. I'm good to see you. Glad you're here. Appreciate you guys hitting that like button. That is a huge W in my mind. Appreciate it. Hope you guys are doing good on this Friday afternoon. So let's go ahead and jump straight into the NFL honors, and then we'll jump into the 49ers news after that. Let me see if I can bring that up real quick so you guys can see it, so you're not just looking at my ugly mug. Let's see what we can do here. Boom! All right. And pa! Okay. Michael in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. I appreciate you. Oh, and big news before we jump into anything else. Actually, before we jump into this, I just want to give a shout out to you guys. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, because I'm officially a YouTube partner. So I gotta watch my language these days. I'm officially a YouTube partner. This is just the first tier. There's another tier I'll make after another 1,000 hours of viewership, of course. But just to keep you guys informed that I have officially am now part of YouTube, and I'm officially a YouTuber. So thank you guys so much for making these dreams come true. It's a first step. I can now accept super chats now, and on top of that, start a membership. And I'm trying to think of things to do for the membership. I'm trying to like some fun things, maybe games, maybe like special debate stuff for memberships. I got some ideas spewing, but I'm just waiting. But I want to make sure it's worth a membership, and I don't want to just throw it out there and be like, hey, I'm going to do nothing with it. I want to make sure it's good for you guys and it's worth something signing up for. So officially YouTube partner. Thank you guys so much for making it what it is. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Steve-O in the house. His NFL honors is rigged. Michael says, however, it was a great Friday. Same here. We're showing some love. That's what I like to see. Steve-O getting a fist punch. I appreciate that. Going out there just punching people. That's the feeling he's got. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's because of you guys for sure. So hopefully we can grow together and we can hit that next tier. So I appreciate it. Val, I like this live. I bet you did. I appreciate you for sure. Rigged. He's probably disappointed that Lamar Jackson didn't get the MVP. That could be it. Or Sam Darnold didn't get comeback player of the year. That could be it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the first one, which is this one is Walter Payton Man of the Year. We didn't really make predictions on that. I didn't see anything about that. Actually, I kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you. And Walter Payton Man of the Year is really just kind of like a philanthropist. I can't say the word philanthropist award, where like the good that you did outside of football and things like that. Eric Armstead tends to do stuff like that outside of he's very active outside of the NFL and stuff like that. So it makes sense that he finally wins this award. I think he's won before. I could be wrong, but congrats to Eric Armstead on winning that award and getting the recognition that he deserves, because he does do a lot for his community outside of NFL. So shout out to Eric Armstead. All right, jumping into the next one, Coach of the Year, which was Kevin O'Connell of the Minnesota Vikings. Wow. Honestly, I was right about this one. I wanted Dan Quinn to win, but I feel like the obvious answer was Kevin O'Connell. And what do you know? I was right about that. Kevin O'Connell wins this award. I mean, it just made sense, especially considering what he did with Sam Darnold. The expectations of that team was completely obliterated. And the reason why Dan Quinn didn't get it is because Jane Daniels is a baller, while Sam Darnold was just being carried by the guru-ness of Kevin O'Connell. So it makes sense that he won Coach of the Year in this situation. Some people said Dan Quinn and stuff like that, but Kevin O'Connell was definitely something I expected to win in the end. Next one, which was really, honestly, when we did this last night for predictions, comeback player of the year was the longest conversation we had. Just because people disagreed with me, saying I think Sam Darnold's going to win it. Obviously, I'm wrong here because comeback player of the year was Joe Burrow. You guys were right. He ended up winning that award because he was out for the rest of the year last year, and he got that W. But this was the longest conversation we had last night about comeback player of the year. And I just find that absolutely hilarious. It's one of the most unimportant awards of them all. But Joe Burrow wins that award. I mean, I guess it's not something I'm going to hold against him. I think it's something that he does deserve to win. I'm not going to be like upset and say it's rigged just because Joe Burrow won over Sam Darnold in this situation. But shout out to you guys who had Joe Burrow winning this award. I was wrong about this one. And so apparently this is not the first time Joe Burrow's won comeback player of the year. Burrow's also won comeback player of the year in 2021 when he returned from his torn ACL. So he's won this award twice already. And I think that's kind of weird. Both because it's expected, man. Like if Joe Burrow ever tears his ACL at any point in the season, you know he's going to come back and ball out every time. So he's a lock to win this award every single time. So I just find it kind of interesting, kind of funny. So shout out to you guys who had Joe Burrow winning this award. Shout out to you guys, and be sure to hit that like button if you guys can do that. I appreciate it. We're at 3 likes from what I see. I appreciate you guys. So let's get some of these comments before I get a little too ahead of myself here. Strawberry in the house. Our bar won't show the Super Bowl because of the Chiefs. I don't blame you. I don't blame them at all. But Joe Burrow deserved comeback player of the year. Definitely seems like it. I was definitely the one. I was definitely the outside looking in on that prediction there. Allen deserved MVP. He was snubbed last year. Strawberry Armstead has been nominated for Wild Player of the Year, but this is the first time he won it. Okay, all right, I thought so. I figured he's been a part of that award a couple times. Just never actually won it. So we'll be showing some love to Rombo out there. Best YouTube channel in the year goes to Wolfie. Hey, appreciate. Jake in the house. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. If the pattern follows, he will have another season-ending injury in 2025 and just get 3 in a row. Break NFL records. I'm sure that's that's got to be an NFL record, getting all of them comeback player of the year awards. 3 would be crazy. 3 would be crazy. Okay. Let's jump into defensive rookie of the year. Rams D lineman Jared Verse. Now, this was the most easiest one. This one was a given. We all kind of saw this one coming. I mean, there's really no debate here. I think a couple people said other people, but Jared Verse was just correct. It's just the right situation. He was the most impactful of them all. Some people say Quinyon Mitchell. I get that, but you got to look at what, yes, Rams defense was phenomenal for what it was, but it's got mostly a lot of young talent on there, and the standout on that young talent was Jared Verse. As for the rookies and the Eagles defense, they have an excellent line, right? And that's the argument that Zach Bond had for defensive player of the year. It was like, yeah, he played great, but he also had that D-line. Same thing here. They have that D-line to work behind. So, of course, Quinyon Mitchell had some benefit to that, of course. Compared to Jared Verse, who's actually impactful and was part of that D-line and stood out the most compared to Quinyon Mitchell. But however, here the votes are. Verse got 37 first-place votes. Eagle cornerback Quinyon Mitchell got 7 and 4. Other players got 1. So at least he was second place. He got some recognition there. However, this just makes sense. But it does seem that the Rams are just constantly drafting defensive rookie of the year. Last one they got was Donald in 2014. So shout out to Jared Verse, man. Looks like a threat. I liked him in the first round. I knew he was going to be good. And I was kind of bummed when the Rams ended up getting him too. So I was kind of really bummed about that. If the pattern follows, what up, dog? Who's special teams of the year? I don't think they have anything like that. I don't think they have a special teams award, to be honest with you. Jake Moody gets most NFL field goals of the year award. Missed field goal. I'll say that makes more sense. Let's say, Michael, that comment makes more sense. I was surprised defensive player of the year, but was happy for PS2. I wasn't surprised. He was one of my I mean, if you were, that's fine. But I figured it came down to PS2 and Myles Garrett. Some people wanted Trey Hendrickson just because the defense he was on, led the team in sacks. That's a good argument for him to play. But there really was like 3 of them that you didn't know who was going to win that one. I know we're jumping around awards here, so let's just get back to Offensive Rookie of the Year, and we'll jump back into that conversation. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jayden Daniels. This one's the obvious one. I've seen some TikToks and some videos of people complaining, oh, Brock Bowers should have won it. It's like, okay, quarterback gets first dibs. Okay, we all know that when it comes to awards in general, okay? Especially for Rookie of the Year, it's going to go to a quarterback if the quarterback performs. And that's what Jayden Daniels is. He had some clutch performances. He had some clutch wins. Some luck, sure, you can argue went his way. Still, he got it done. It doesn't matter if Brock Bowers had one of the greatest rookie seasons of Raiders, greatest rookie season of all time in the NFL history. And I understand it's the Raiders and it's those QBs he's working with, that offense he was working with. I get it, but there's really nothing you can do if there's a rookie that ends up balling out. If a rookie ends up balling out, it doesn't matter what any other position does on offense. As long as a rookie quarterback balls out, they're going to win that award. And that's exactly what Jayden Daniels is. So I feel like this was a gimme, and I don't think people should complain too much. They should complain about the award being like a quarterback award mainly, like, because that gets main priority. They should complain about stuff like that. However, to get upset that Jayden Daniels would get it, it just made sense. It just made sense that he got Rookie of the Year. So that's just obvious. So, then this is Defensive Player of the Year. I had Myles Garrett winning this, and Patrick Surtain was my second. Trey Hendrickson was my third, but it was definitely between those 3 players. Honestly, Patrick Surtain, he was phenomenal. Had an insane year, incredible year. He's one of the best defensive players, obviously winning this award. Someone the 49ers almost traded for at some point a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I think, or maybe even last year. I could be wrong. But he deserves it. I mean, finally, a corner comes up there and wins that award. You think a DN would get more priority because DN is one of the top 3 positions. So that's kind of what I was going with when Myles Garrett, why I thought Myles Garrett should win the award. But Patrick Surtain, definitely a standout in that Broncos defense. Probably honestly the best defensive player on that defensive line. And it's well-deserved. I think he well deserves it. Patrick Surtain got 26 votes, while Trey Hendrickson got 11. Myles Garrett got 5. So Hendrickson did get some of the votes. TJ Watt got 3. Zach Bond got 2, and 1 each went to Kirby Joseph, Van Ginkel, and Jonathan Grenard. Whoever picked Kirby Joseph, Van Ginkel, and Jonathan Grenard, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I'm throwing that out there right now. But Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, and Surtain getting the top 3 most votes. I definitely had that correct, who was the top 3. So I wasn't wrong there. But I was wrong on who ended up getting the award, and I thought Myles Garrett would get more votes than that. But Trey Hendrickson, I guess, it's the defense that he was on and the sacks that he had. It just kind of made sense that he becomes second at least in that award. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy that I just think it's weird that a corner got priority over a DN. That's the only thing I kind of pushed back on that I thought was kind of interesting. So let me go ahead and drink some more of my coffee. And don't worry, guys, I'm going to get your comments here in a minute. I'm just going to go through these awards real quick, and then we'll talk about all of them, what your opinions are on them. So Saquon Barkley, honestly, him winning Offensive Player of the Year, when he won that award, when I saw that he won the award, I was like, okay, he's not winning MVP, right? Offensive Player of the Year is just second place MVP, really, unless like a defensive player pops out and they win MVP. But that rarely happens. And you knew it was going to go to an offensive player. I don't think there was even a defensive player that was nominated for MVP. So this just makes total sense that if Saquon Barkley got second place, you knew that he wasn't going to win MVP at that point. So it was between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Saquon Barkley, if he came away with no awards at the end of the night, that would have been absolutely shocking. Okay, he would at least deserve Offensive Player of the Year above Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow. He's just what he did this year is unprecedented. It's unprecedented because it's not saying like we've ever seen it before, but you get what I'm saying. Like it's just one of the best running back seasons of all time, you know, and he deserves that award. I'm super happy for Saquon Barkley. I'm glad that I hate that he's with the Eagles because I'm not the biggest fan of the Eagles, but I'm super happy that he went somewhere to prove himself. That because apparently there's people out there that doubted him, that says that he was washed and the Giants killed him. He's done. I thought that was ridiculous personally. You still saw what he could do. There's the offensive line that he was behind with the Giants. He was still doing incredible things there. Just wasn't as effective just because of what he was working with. But the moment he went to the Eagles, right, and that offensive line, I knew he was going to ball out. I was like, fuck, dude, they're going to be great. I was like, dang it, man, this team's going to be good. It's because he got Saquon Barkley, dude. And he lived up to it, man. 2005 yards this season. He could have gone for the record against the Giants the last game, decided not to do it. I mean, the unselfishness of that whole situation, the selflessness of it, to be like, I just want to go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl instead of just putting myself out there, tired myself, and possibly injure myself. It worked out. Obviously, there was a lot of pressure on Saquon Barkley to perform. There's a lot of pressure on Saquon Barkley to show up. If he gave up that record and didn't make the Super Bowl, I feel like that would hurt him. Like that, he would look back on and be like, man, I should have done that. But hey, he went to the Super Bowl, right? He went to the NFC Championship. He went to the Super Bowl. He deserves it. Congratulations, Saquon Barkley, man. You took a risk. You took a shot, and it worked out for you, man. You also had a great playoffs. It was the first game you were in, not the best start. But after that, divisional to NFC Championship, you turn on the Jets, man. You got it going after that. So congratulations. And it wasn't like you were carried either. Like it wasn't like I'm not trying to talk shit about CMC here, but CMC wasn't the best in the playoffs, right? And Saquon Barkley was phenomenal in the playoffs. Okay. CMC was just used to the ground. And once the playoffs hit, he wasn't as good. All right. He wasn't as clutch as we needed him to be. And Brock Purdy in the end had to come out and carry us to a win from the Lions to the Packers. Usually some people said it should have been CMC that did it. While Saquon Barkley came up and was like, hey, I could do this, and actually performed. And he was phenomenal and helped carry the Eagles to wins from the first game against the Packers. Wasn't as great, but after that, the divisional to the NFC Championship, he was phenomenal, right? He was back into Saquon Barkley shape, doing Saquon Barkley things. And now in the Super Bowl, he's going to do phenomenal things. I feel like 2 weeks of break, there's no reason for him to slow down. I think he's going to do great in the Super Bowl as well. Well-deserved for Saquon Barkley, Offensive Player of the Year, hands down. Like no one else deserved that award if he wasn't going to win MVP. So, all right, NFL MVP. This is the big one. This is the big one, okay? And that is – hold on, where'd it go? Lamar Jackson Bills quarterback Josh Allen wins MVP. Now, look, I wanted Josh Allen to win, but I thought Lamar Jackson was going to win this award based on hype, based on what everyone was saying, and I thought it would have been bullshit. The reason why I thought it would have been bullshit, I'm sure if you guys have seen my short, but it would have been bullshit because the same argument that was made against Dak Prescott or Brock Purdy was because they had weapons around them, because they had support around them to get those stats, to get those things that were done. Brock Purdy was first in multiple stats, so many of them, and was not considered for the MVP and went to Lamar Jackson by like almost a default just because, and the argument was he did it himself. And what I mean by he did it himself, he still had Mark Andrews, right? He had Dobbins, I believe, or something like that, who was still not that bad of a running back, right? Now, those are still technically weapons, but people said that was still just Lamar making it happen. That was all Lamar, right? No one was giving Likely's flowers last year either, right? But this year, now he has Derrick Henry, the upcoming of Likely, Andrews, Flowers, Bateman, that incredible offensive line. He benefited greatly from that. While Josh Allen literally did what Lamar Jackson did last year, which was the reason why he won MVP in the first place. The reason why Josh Allen won MVP this year is the same reason that everyone said Lamar Jackson should deserve MVP last year. He did it himself. Yeah, did he have some help? Technically, yeah. He had James Cook, a top 10 running back, right? He had a pretty good tight end in Kincaid. And I know he had that playoff issue there, an offensive line. But compared to what Brock Purdy had last year, what Dak had to Lamar, is equivalent to what Josh Allen had to what Lamar has. And the reason why Lamar was so phenomenal statistically, and we all know it's not a statistical war, because if so, then Brock Purdy should have won that shit last year. The reason why is because Josh Allen had mid-ass weapons. The reason why Lamar Jackson had the stats he had was because Derrick Henry was opening up passing lanes. Was because players were getting separation on all the time, right? Like, he had the weapons to get it done, to get as far as he did, to carry him as far as he did. Because I'm telling you right now, he would not have that statistical year if he didn't have these weapons around him. While Josh Allen did not have these weapons around him and made his players better. James Cook did as good as he did because everyone had to focus on Josh Allen more than James Cook. And when you do that, it opens up running lanes for James Cook. Josh Allen carried James Cook's stats and the rest of his offensive stats. Lamar Jackson was absolutely carried by Derrick Henry, who had 1,700 yards, was phenomenal, 300 and something carries, which opened up passing lanes left and right down the field for Lamar Jackson. So this was well-deserved for Josh Allen. If you're saying that Lamar Jackson won the award because he did it himself, then Josh Allen winning this award made sense because he did it himself. It was him. He was the most valuable player. If you took Daniel Jones on the Ravens with the weapons he had and the offensive line that he had, he probably still makes the playoffs. If you put Daniel Jones on the Bills, they are just the Giants. You're not winning games like that. So who is more valuable at that point? It would be Josh Allen. So this makes sense. So when people say he was snubbed, I don't understand that. That has to be some sort of bias. That has to be some sort of, he has to win the award for some reason, just because he's electric. Yeah, Lamar Jackson is electric. Lamar Jackson is a phenomenal quarterback who does incredible things. But it's not about flash, right? It's not about flash. It's about, are you more valuable to the team than the others? Literally most valuable player, not most flashy player, not most player who could do both things, run and pass. Josh Allen deserved this award 110%. And I know people might disagree with that, say that Lamar got snubbed, but it literally makes no sense if you're saying he won it last year for this reason, and yet then that means Josh Allen must win it this year. It's just how it goes. So this made sense to me, Josh Allen winning the award, and I feel vindicated. Vindicated! I was selfish. I was wrong. You know, that one song from Dashboard Confessions. So Josh Allen winning this award made sense. If you guys want to say Lamar Jackson should have won, fine, whatever. But he won already. Josh Allen won, vindicated there. The argument makes sense now. The argument is, are you the player, the key player to the success? Are you the key player getting it done? Are you the key player getting the wins? Look, Josh Allen was that guy. It makes sense for last year with that argument. It makes sense this year for this argument. So, and some people want to say Joe Burrow should have won this award, but we all know that you do not win MVP if you do not win games. I know that winning games is not wins are not a quarterback stat, but I've said this before. If the quarterback is a reason why you won, one of the main reasons why you win games, that's different than just winning games. Because sometimes you can win games, they're like 13-10, right? And the quarterback barely did nothing, actually just threw 2 interceptions, but still won. Somehow the quarterback still gets credit for it. However, there's wins where you're credited for what the quarterback did. So there's a difference there. And in the end, Joe Burrow didn't get the wins they needed to get that award. Because we all know that you have to win games to win the MVP, whether you like it or not. That's just how it is, how it's always been. So, all right, let's get to some comments. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are going to say a few things, disagree on a few things, but we'll jump into that, and I'll hear what you guys have to say. Let me drink some coffee. Hold on. Oh, God, heart. Sorry. My teeth are all dry. I was surprised by defensive player of the year was Hafner PS2. Yeah, he's got that award, man. I think he deserved that. I mean, quarterback rarely wins. It's usually whoever gets the most sacks. Yeah, DN's usually way more of a priority in the situation. So that is a little bit shocking in that situation. Yeah, we'll jump into that, Michael, about the coach thing, but we're trying to get ahead of ourselves here. We're just talk about first we're going to talk about the NFL awards, and then we'll jump into the 49ers news. Hit that like button, guys. I appreciate it. CMC averaged 2 TDs per game in the playoffs. What? Yeah, but he had some garbage time touchdowns. So, it's all Brock Purdy carrying it. So he didn't have clutch moments, right? CMC was not there. We relied on him, and he couldn't get it done. It was Brock Purdy who had to use his legs to get it done. Brock Purdy was the reason why we won those games. CMC was not the reason why we won those games. Jake, you think Bengals pay both Henderson and Chase? We'll see about that. Barkley definitely deserved that one. Yep. Yep, you can't. And we suck. Was Shock Mahomes was NFL of the year? Oh, wasn't NFL of the year, MVP of the year. If you're comparing by stats, Burrow wins MVP. Lamar fans trying to backtrack and push the stats matter all of a sudden. Yeah, they're really getting into that. It's crazy. I disagree with the Jones take. I don't know how you can. Ravens probably win 8 to 9 games without Lamar, but Bills win about 6-ish. Well, you get the point, though. Without each of those teams' respective QBs, I feel like every team wins 2 games without their quarterbacks. If the Bengals defense plays better, Burrow's value doesn't change. Man, Jake, it's like, oh, my God. I don't think fans nor AP really thinks about these holistically. I do not think any one of the Bengals should have won the award. I mean, you didn't win games. I get that you got the statistics, right? But like you said, statistics aren't a thing. They're not something you can rely on. So I would not use what Joe Burrow did. It did not equate to wins, right? What Trey Hendrickson did not equate to wins. What Jamar Chase did not equate to wins. And we all know, I'm not saying winning is everything, but winning is part of it if you want to win these awards, right? I guess you could make the argument for the Broncos, but the Broncos won games and went to the playoffs. So, all right, let's go ahead. We're done with that NFL Honors Awards. I appreciate you guys and your opinions on that situation there. Let's go ahead and jump into the Hall of Fame people, the players that won Hall of Fame. Go ahead and get that in there. Hold on. Let's see if Hey, my very first super chat. Appreciate it, Papa. Let's go, baby. Just want me the very first super chat on the Wolfie Show. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate the $5. Let's go, dog. That's awesome, man. Thank you. I'm blushing, man. That's awesome. Appreciate you, Papa. Best mod of Broken Ass for, man. Appreciate the support. That's dope, man. That's dope. All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into the next thing. I want you guys to know I never thought that I would actually hit that mark, first tier of monetization. So I don't want to spend the entire live talking about it, but seriously, thank you guys. And thank you, Papa J, for being the first. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget my first. I'll never forget my first. Appreciate it. All right. Well, I got a message saying, let's celebrate their first super on a live stream. How do I pull a what is it? 49ers super chat when they put their first stream, they put in their first super chat. You go, first super chat. Oh, that's super loud. Oh, all right. Let's share this tab here. Okay, so Hall of Fame players of the year. I don't know why I said that. Hall of Fame players class of 2025, which was Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Antonio Gates, and Sterling Shepard. What was absolutely shocking about this was the fact that, okay, I'm not saying Eli Manning should have won. Okay, I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I really honestly don't. I really don't. But for some reason, I was shocked, absolutely shocked to see that. I was expecting him to win. I was expecting to see Eli Manning get in. I really was. I looked at this class and I was like, oh my God, this fucking guy's gonna win. This guy's gonna get in there, man. I don't think he deserves it. He had 2 great seasons. Outside of that, some longevity. I guess you can make the argument there. He took down Tom Brady, which is legendary to do it twice. I just kind of thought there was some sort of argument that people would have made to put him in there, to be honest with you. But so I was really shocked to see that he wasn't in it. I felt vindicated. Like, I felt some vindication being like, okay, I knew that motherfucker wasn't a first ballot. So I felt some vindication. So I was shocked by that. And I was shocked by, what's his name? Oh my God, what's his name? Adam Vinatieri didn't get it. I understand he's a kicker, but he's literally considered one of the greatest kickers of all time. And you got to be super good at his job. Clutch wins, clutch Super Bowl victories, clutch. Like, I was more shocked that Adam Vinatieri didn't get in there than Eli Manning. Right? I'm actually super shocked that Adam Vinatieri didn't find his way in there. I get you're a kicker, but still, dude, that's wild. Luke Kuechly didn't get in there. I understand that. He should have. I feel like the reason why Luke Kuechly didn't get it in there is because his longevity wasn't there. Same thing with Patrick Willis. Patrick Willis wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I get it with Luke Kuechly as well. He's a phenomenal guy. He's going to get in at some point, Luke Kuechly is. But so I guess he's on par with Patrick Willis when it comes to like longevity and the impact that he had on his team, how good he was. But so Luke Kuechly not making is wild. So, but Jared Allen, obviously a big one. Eric Allen, don't know too much about him. Antonio Gates, that guy definitely deserves. That guy was phenomenal, one of the greatest tight ends of all time in general. Sterling Shepard, after all these years, finally gets in. And yeah, it's well deserved. I mean, all these guys technically deserve the award. I'm not going to argue with it, but it was just weird to see Adam Vinatieri get knocked out of it. And even if I don't think he was a first ballot Hall of Famer, I was still kind of shocked to see Eli not make it at the same time. I know it's kind of contradictory there. I get that. But for some reason, I was shocked by that. I truly was shocked by that. So, oh my God, my teeth are killing me right now. I don't know why. I really thought it was weird there was only 4 inductees. Yeah, right? How many was there last year? Let me check. How many were there last year? NFL Hall of Fame 2024 class. Who's in the Hall of Fame with class 2024? There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was 8 Hall of Famers that made this class. So what's the criteria? Do you have to have a certain amount of votes or something that makes you only have a certain amount every single year? Because there was 8 last year. Dwight Freeney, Randy Gradishar, Devin Hester, well-deserved. Andre Johnson, well-deserved. Misty McMichael, wife of Steve McMichael. Julius Peppers, and Patrick Willis was 7, not 8. Sorry, because Misty Michael's not just telling you that's who he was. So Steve McMichael won the award. Julius Peppers and Patrick Willis. So there was 7 who won the award last year. And so 3 less. I wonder what the criteria is for you to actually get in, because clearly you have to have a certain amount of votes, right? Or there has to be some sort of argument. Or like, is there a thing where there's not a cap and it's just like, does this guy deserve first ballot Hall of Famer status? Because then that would make sense. If you were like, okay, this guy does not deserve first ballot Hall of Fame status, so you're going to take away some inductees, right? Or if they didn't get enough votes on certain things, so you take away the first. Because if you don't think Eli Manning is a first ballot Hall of Famer based on vote or based on opinion, a collective opinion, then he doesn't get in, right? Same thing with Adam Vinatieri, he doesn't get in. So maybe like Luke Kuechly didn't get in for that same reason. So maybe the reason why there's only 4 was because the voters didn't think that these people deserved first ballot Hall of Fame status. That is the only thing I can think of. to be like, okay, there's only 4 here. Because last year there was 7. That's the only thing I can think of. So, and that's just on my top of my head. So don't I take that as gospel or anything. So, did you know Antonio Gates never played it down in college football? I heard something like that. That's a good fact though, Jake. That's a good fact. I have heard something like that. I think he played basketball, right? I'm pretty sure he played basketball. They usually have like 7 or 8 per class. That's what I thought too, man. Well, there was 7 last year, so got to be position bias, you know. Do you mean Sterling Shepard? Yeah, did I say Sterling Shepard? Sterling Sharp. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the correction, man. I keep saying Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp, not Sterling Shepard. Way more than 4. Willis was 1. Congratulations to Willis. Patrick Willis with the dub. Let's go. McMichael was on the 85 Bears. Are you thinking of McMahon, or was he actually on the 85 Bears? Was there 2 McMahon and McMichaels on the team? Even then, there are plenty of players that are on the wait list, so there could have been more. Frank Gore is officially eligible for 2026. I saw that. That's something we can actually look at right now. Hold on. That's something we can take a look at. Right, actually, that's actually a good one. That's a good thing we can check out. Show me a list. Okay, here's a list from Yahoo Sports. This is a list of eligible Hall of Famers for their first time in 2026. We'll take a look at that. That's a good call out there, Frank Gore. I don't know. I don't really know who Steve McMichael is, actually. So, I mean, props to you for knowing that. I really don't know who that is. All right. So, Larry Fitzgerald, he's in. Larry Fitzgerald is in, guys. I don't care what you say. To me, he's literally – I ranked wide receivers, I think, last year all time, and I had Fitzgerald as my number 5. You're the number 1. You're the number 5 all-time wide receiver. In my eyes, I think you're phenomenal. You're on and off the field. You're an incredible player. You are unique. You're one of a kind. And not only that, you're phenomenal. You carried that Cardinals team, dude. Larry Fitzgerald is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm saying it now. Drew Brees, first ballot Hall of Famer. That's happening without doubt. For a guy to bring the Saints their first Super Bowl after the historic Super Bowl. Phenomenal. I think he's got a lot of yards on him, like 2nd or 3rd most or some shit like that. Has like multiple 5,000-yard seasons. I mean, Drew Brees is the man. Okay, he played till he was 40 years old. Longevity is there. On and off the field, he was excellent. Went to the playoffs often. Yeah, he only won 1 Super Bowl, but 1 is better than 0 than most quarterbacks. So shout out to Drew Brees. He's first ballot. So these 2 right here are getting in 2026. That's happening for sure. Phillip Rivers. Hold on. Watch John Manning's explanation of the 46 defense, how the Blairs play immaculate grid. If Manning didn't get first ballot, you really think Brees will? Yeah, I do. I really do. I think Brees was a lot more impactful than Eli Manning was, and a lot more consistently good than Eli Manning was. I understand that he only won 1 Super Bowl to Eli Manning's Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls, but it's not always about Super Bowls. It's not always about Super Bowl victories. And I do think that Drew Brees is going to get in for sure. Like, without a doubt in my mind. I would be so freaking shocked. So freaking shocked if he doesn't make it. I would be so shocked if Drew Brees is not first ballot Hall of Famer. Jake says Brees had like 5,000 or 6,000. That's what I'm saying. He had a lot, right? I think he had a lot. Phillip Rivers now. Phillip Rivers, I don't think gets the first ballot Hall of Fame status, especially if you're to argue that Eli Manning doesn't get it. There's no way Phillip Rivers does, just because I feel like they're almost in the same tier. Phillip Rivers had some good years, but he wasn't consistent throughout his entire career. Doesn't have a lot of playoff wins. I don't think – hey, if it was based on how much children you had, he's a first ballot, okay? First ballot Hall of Famer. He's an all-team decade quarterback if it was based on kids, right? But Phillip Rivers, I think, does not get first ballot. I don't think he makes the award. I don't think he gets in. Jason Witten, phenomenal tight end. I know I don't like the Cowboys. I despise the Cowboys, really, honestly. But Jason Witten was a phenomenal tight end for the Cowboys. And it's not like quarterback where it's not like quarterback where Super Bowls really actually matter or a factor of some kind, or your playoffs, what you do in the playoffs really affect you in that way compared to a quarterback, right? Jason Witten, though, like every year was consistent all the way up until he retired. I think Jason Witten's one of the all-time greatest tight ends. Do I think he's up there like Tony Gonzalez and Gronkowski? No, he's nothing like that. But he's iconic. He's an iconic. He's an iconic tight end that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And I think he deserves to be a Hall of Famer at some point. But as of right now, if I had to choose between Philip Rivers and Jason Witten, I would take Jason Witten over Philip Rivers. That's what I would do. Now, this one's tough. This one's a bit tough. Frank Gore. Look, I love Frank Gore. And I'm not about to go off and talk shit about Frank Gore, okay? I'm not talking shit. I love Frank Gore. Frank Gore is my favorite 49ers of all time. Okay, when I joined when I first got into football, like really into it, I mean like really, really into it, like my team and everything in 2005, that's when Frank Gore came in. I was in love with that running back. He was phenomenal from the start to finish. Iconic. Like literally my favorite, like top 5 favorite 49ers of all time is Frank Gore. Love that guy. His longevity is incredible. One of the best running backs, I feel like, of all time. He's like 3rd or 4th, I think. I haven't looked at the stats yet, and like yards or whatever. He's iconic. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? Is Frank Gore a first ballot Hall of Famer? I don't know. And like I said, I love Frank Gore, but I don't know, man. I don't know. And I know there's like at least like 4 is obviously the least amount of Hall of Famers we've seen. And Frank Gore throughout history has never gotten the respect he deserved, right? People never looked at Frank Gore as a top dog at any point. That's not a 49ers fan, respectively. So even though I would like to see him become a first ballot Hall of Famer, prediction-wise, I don't think he gets it. And I know that sounds bad coming from a 49ers fan. I'm supposed to be a 49ers fan. I get that, but I don't think he gets it. Because of the disrespect he's gotten over the years. He's never gotten the recognition he's deserved at all. Ever. So I just think that's going to correspond with the ballots as well. People aren't going to look at that and be like, okay, Frank Gore deserves to be a first ballot. I want him to be a first ballot. I truly do. But if you're asking me to predict it, I don't think so. So, and I know that's bad. I'm a 49ers fan, and that's bad. But, oh, my God. So, how did he not get a single MVP award, 7-time passing yard leader? I think, like, Eli Manning is, like, top 9 or top 10 passing leader, too. So, it's a lot more than just that. Papa, I doubt Gore's first ballot Hall of Famer. He will get it eventually, but I doubt it'll be his first ballot. Yeah, I think he'll get it at some point. I just don't think he's gotten the I just don't think he's got, like I said, the respect he deserves around the league for years to come. So, like, for as long as he's been considered like a top 3 back, top 2 back sometimes throughout the years, but he's never been like the number 1 back. He's never had that respect. And I feel like that's what's going to hold him back from winning the award, even though I think he's one of the greatest running backs of all time. And that could just be bias. That could be honest. It's kind of hard to put away the red and gold when you're making judgments like that. Roger Craig isn't even in. He was the first 1,000 guy. If Craig isn't in, I doubt gets in it for a while. Yeah, Craig. That's cool. That's wild to me, man. That Roger Craig is not in there. Like the hate towards running backs is wild. I think that's crazy that Roger Craig is not in the Hall of Fame. That dude, like you said, his first 1,000 season. First guy to ever do it. He made history doing that. He was impactful. great running back. I don't understand how he's not in there already by now. Like, I understand he's not first ballot, but it's been years. Dude deserves some recognition, man. Hey, as a 49ers fan, Frank Gore has always been a fan favorite. Yeah, dude, people love him. So Jake says, I kind of want to talk about the Super Bowl. We'll do that tomorrow because I'm going to go live tomorrow as well. So we'll talk about the Super Bowl then. But I'm giving you guys heads up now. I'm not watching it. I am not watching the Super Bowl. So, but I'll give you a prediction. I'm going to give a prediction. We'll talk about it or whatever, but I ain't watching that shit. So, all right. Jumping to the next one. Julian Edelman. I think Julian Edelman gets it. Call me crazy. I know I just said Frank Gore and all the other guys, but I feel like Julian Edelman's going to get first ballot Hall of Famer. And I don't know about that, man. That I'm not saying like I think he deserves it, right? But I feel like because he was part of that dynasty with the Patriots, he was a Super Bowl MVP, has iconic moments in the playoffs, relatively an iconic wide receiver in certain aspects. You know, and he's been consistently good just about every single year he's been in the league. I think I think he checks all the boxes, but my God, dude, I don't know. I feel so iffy about it because Tom Brady was his quarterback. But I feel like Julian Edelman is going to be a first ballot. So far I got Larry Fitzgerald, Drew Brees, Julian Edelman so far as first ballot Hall of Famers. I would much rather Gore be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'd much rather Jason Witten even be more of a first ballot Hall of Famer. That might sound crazy to people, maybe even Phillip Rivers. But Julian Edelman's going to get in there. Julian Edelman's going to be in that in the Hall of Fame. I feel like first ballot. Marquise Pouncey, iconic, I believe, center for the Steelers. He might get in there. He was phenomenal. He had longevity. He was good at his job year in and year out. He can get in there, but he's an offensive lineman, and offensive linemen do not get in the Hall of Fame that easily. But if there's a lineman that can get in there, it definitely would be Pouncey. LaShawn McCoy, man, it's kind of up there with Frank Gore. A lot of people think LaShawn McCoy is one of the best running backs of all time. I don't think so. I don't think he's got a nice name, right? He was part of the dynasty with the Kansas City Chiefs, but I don't think he's first ballot. I don't think he deserves that. So he's kind of on tiers with like Frank Gore in that situation. I feel like so. Thomas Davis, that's a good player. He might be able to get in there. Greg Olsen, I feel like could get in there. Alex Smith, I don't think gets in there. Dez Bryant's not going to get in there. And Steven Gostkowski. We just saw Adam Vinatieri not make the Hall of Fame. We just saw Adam Vinatieri not make Hall of Fame, who I thought was going to make it over Eli. I was pretty sure Adam Vinatieri was going to get it. Would Steven Gostkowski make that? Now would he get that? I don't know. But with that being said, the top two guys I feel like that are going to make the Hall of Fame are Larry Fitzgerald and Drew Brees. Like, for sure. If these two guys, one of these guys don't make it, I would be fucking shocked. These guys are historic. They're iconic, right? These two guys are making it. The rest of this list, you could argue, probably not end up making it. You know, like, yeah. So, because obviously with the four people that made it in the Hall of Fame, there is an argument when they vote, does this guy deserve first ballot? Because first ballot, there's a tier there. So they can't just be like, oh, there's 3 extra spots to take over, so let's just give this guy first ballot. You know, I don't think that's how that works. So, and there's a few of these in here that would be first ballot Hall of Famers. And so it's up to the voters if they think if they deserve that kind of tier. But Larry Fitzgerald and Drew Brees definitely deserve that. So, all right. Let me drink my coffee here and get out of those ballots. And they'll talk about the 49ers news. We'll jump into the 49ers news. As a 49ers fan, Gringo has always been a fan favorite. I kind of want to talk about the Super Bowl. Which is why I don't think CMC gets it either. People want to put him in, but I don't think he will have longevity when his time comes. Yeah, he's got to have that longevity. He has been very impactful. I feel like he is a Hall of Famer, I feel like, but there's something about him that I don't think would be a first ballot. I agree with you, Strawberry. There's something about it that just doesn't – sounds like I'm talking shit about him, but I'm not, I swear to God. But there's something about it that just screams to me he's not going to get first ballot when he retires. As of right now, that can change. If next year, this coming year, he's phenomenal, balls out as another Offensive Player of the Year award, leads the league in yards, et cetera, whatever, maybe, right? But there's just something about him that doesn't scream first ballot to me. So I can understand why Ricky Waters isn't it either as an Niners fan. I wish he was. People might hate me for saying this. He doesn't get it before Evans does. I'm watching the game. Evans better win first. I think Evans deserves first ballot. He's like Frank Gore in that way where he doesn't get enough respect. He does not get enough look. I mean, constant 1,000-yard seasons the way he does, man. One of the most consistent, if not like top tier, the most consistent wide receiver of all time. I think Mike Evans deserves to be first ballot, but, you know, I'm watching the game purely because it's an American tradition that only comes once a year. Other than that, I'll be hating the winner and laughing at the loser. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm actually thinking about doing a stream where I'm calling it doing literally anything than watch the Super Bowl, where I'm thinking about doing like a puzzle. I'm gonna do a puzzle. I'm gonna read a book and then like stare at drywall. Think about doing something like that, like some sort of like a gimmick live. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you know, those gimmick lives where people do where they like do challenges and things of that nature. I kind of treat it that same way where I'm just going to be like, you know what? Fuck that Super Bowl. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to stare at drywall, build a puzzle, read a book, prove to you motherfuckers that I'm not watching that shit. So I'm thinking about it. I understand that people aren't going to stay in the live and like sit there and watch me do that kind of stuff. But I do think people would pop in and be like, well, what is he doing? Oh, then watch this game right now. You're a 49ers content creator. You're a content creator in the NFL. You should be watching. Like, what are you doing? I feel like people will pop in and be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So, you know, some sort of, you know, content there, you know, but it probably won't be the best. I don't even think first ballot. Not at all. You don't think McCaffrey would get in there at all? That's wild. That's a hot take, Strawberry. That would be crazy to me, man. That would be crazy. I appreciate it. I'll also join you for anything but Super Bowl streaming. I appreciate you guys. Oh, geez, awesome. Appreciate it. Like I said, I might end up doing that shit. I have to set an alarm because I can't. The thing is, man, I have to set up rules and stuff. Like I can't look at the chat because I feel like the chat will tell me the score, tell me things that happened, you know, things of that nature, and I have to avoid that. So. Because the point is to not be aware of the Super Bowl and do literally anything else. So appreciate it out there. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. I just think position bias. I mean, it's kind of true. You're not wrong. Like running back does not get the respect it deserves. Like how many running backs are actually in the Hall of Fame? How many are actually in that shit? Let me check. How many running backs are in the Hall of Fame? There's 19. There's 19 running backs in the Hall of Fame. Those are Emmitt Smith. Makes sense. I mean, I think he has the most rushing, he has the most yards of all running backs. So I can see that. LaDainian Tomlinson, I can see that. Iconic running back, one of the greatest of all time. Walter Payton, I can see that too. Tony Dorsett, like, don't get me wrong, he's good. But that's like I don't think it's that. He's good. I don't know if I don't know. That's trippy. Terrell Davis, I could see that. Edgar and James, I don't know enough about him to really make that judgment. Marshall Faulk, Curtis Martin, but there's 19 running backs that are in the Hall of Fame since 1970. This number includes players who played running back after 1970. So this is the main list. I like a lot of these. Like I was saying that Emmitt Smith, LaDainian Tomlinson, Walter Payton, Terrell Davis, maybe. Marshall Faulk, I guess. Edgar James, I know he was good, but I don't know about that. Curtis Martin. But yet, like, Roger Craig isn't in there. Frank Gore probably is not going to get in there. Is Adrian Peterson in there? I don't think Adrian Peterson's even in there. Hold on. Barry Sanders is in there. That makes sense. If he wins the Super Bowl for the Niners, then he will, but it will be like 20 years down the road. Yeah, probably. I'm gonna be at a sports bar for the big game. Hey, have a good time, man. Have a good time. Enjoy it. His kids will have to accept for him because he'll be dead by the time he gets it. They hate, man. CMC will make it the first time if he has another record-breaking season and a Super Bowl win. He'll have to be like Offensive Player of the Year. It's what's crazy is like it's between the thing about LaDainian Tomlinson and Emmitt Smith and those running backs they're in. Those were bona fide the best running back of their time. Those running backs were bona fide ballers. They're bona fide. They were considered the reason why these teams won games, and stuff like that. And I feel like as a running back, you have to do that. Honestly, Frank Gore kind of carries that weight, sort of, but not enough because we didn't really win that many games because of him. Roger Craig was way more of Joe Montana. So I see that why he got overshadowed there. But there are some running backs in there that I don't think really, yeah. So, yeah. CMC will make it the first time if he has another record-breaking season. Jerome Bettis, right? It's just showing me. Hold on. Charlie Trippy, some guy named this guy's name is Charlie Trippy. I'll show you guys the list real quick. This is from the Hall of Fame. So Charlie Trippy, Doak Walker. That's a trippy name, dude. Earl Campbell from 1978 to 1985. It's not very long. Eric Dickerson, of course, that makes sense. Gotta have Eric Dickerson in there. Marshall Faulk. He had an 11-year career. Obviously won 2 Super Bowls. One Super Bowl, I think. Franco Harris. He's iconic. I recognize that name. Frank Guilford, never heard of him. Gale Sayers, that sounds familiar to me. Hugh McElhenney. Fucking it up. Jim Brown, of course. Almost forgot about Jim Brown. Jim Taylor. Oh, I recognize Jim Taylor. Joe Perry. Hey, I remember Joe Perry. Refrigerator Perry. Henry Johnson. I did not know Henry Johnson. John Riggins. Oh, he was on and off. He played from 71 to 79 and then from 81 to 85. Interesting. Larry Sonka. Lenny Moore. Leroy Kelly. Marcus Allen. I recognize that one. Marion Motley. Don't recognize that one. O.J. Simpson. He got in there. Ollie Matson. Paul Hornung. That guy's name is Hornung. All right, Thurman Thomas. Tony Dorsett. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, so 77 to 1988. Okay. Walter Payton. Barry Sanders. Charlie Trippy. Am I going? No, I don't see. Oh, that's from says 2011 though. It says 0 to 26 2011. So that's who's in it. No, I didn't see a Jerome Bettis, but I feel like that's that didn't show that list of. It didn't show the full list. Just show the full list up to 2011. Jerome Bettis, Hall of Fame. He is in the Hall of Fame. Jerome Bettis is in the Hall of Fame. So there's a few running backs, actually. I was actually shocked. That's actually a lot more running backs than I thought. Current 49ers are Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Trent Williams, George Kittle, Fred Warner. I agree with Trent Williams for sure. George Kittle, I think, is probably going to be one for sure. Fred Warner, he's going to be in there. I wouldn't say first ballot, though. I think George Kittle might end up being first ballot. I think Trent Williams might end up being first ballot. Fred Warner, though, I don't know if he'll be first ballot yet. If he has like 2 more phenomenal seasons, I think he probably works over there. Jake says Joe Perry was not the refrigerator. Who was the refrigerator? Who was the refrigerator? Joe Perry. It's going to correct me here. William Perry, nicknamed the refrigerator. It was William Perry, not Joe Perry. Yeah, so William Perry, not Joe Perry. My mistake. All right. So those are the Hall of Fame players. We went through that. We went through the running backs. Let's go ahead and jump into the 49ers news stuff real quick, and then we'll bounce. Okay. As you guys know, Gus Bradley was hired by Robert Saleh, really technically. That's kind of what people are giving credit to is Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh, let me go ahead and bring up the article real quick. All right, here's the article here. Gus Bradley, among candidates mentioned to take over as 49ers defensive coordinator this offseason, is coming to the organization after all. Woo! Bradley, 58, will serve as 49ers defensive assistant, a source confirmed by NBC Sports. Tom Purcell first reported the news. I don't give a shit. Bradley most recently served as defensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts for the last 3 seasons. In Bradley's role with the 49ers, he will work under new defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, who was hired to replace Nick Sorensen. Sorensen was fired by Coach Kyle Shanahan. You're fired, mother. After 1 season as defensive coordinator, Sorensen was recently hired for the position of Dallas Cowboys special teams coordinator. Everyone point and laugh at the Dallas Cowboys for hiring Sorensen as special teams coordinator. All right. Bradley served as Jacksonville Jaguars head coach from 2013 to 2016, and Saleh was a linebackers coach on his staff from 2016 to 2014 to 16. Both men worked for the Seattle Seahawks under Pete Carroll and the Legion of Boom. All right. I'm glad that we did not get. I'm glad that we did not get Gus Bradley as defensive coordinator. However, I kind of like this. I really do like this hire. I think that this is a really good. I think it's a really good coaching staff. This is a phenomenal coaching staff. We got, in my opinion, the best special teams coach you can get. The 49ers can get. The 49ers got the best defensive coordinator they can get. Now, as a defensive assistant, you got a guy who clicks with Robert Saleh, is friends with Robert Saleh. And let's check out that defense. What are the Colts' defense ranked for the past 3 seasons? Let's check that out. See if he knows his stuff. Dude. Okay, so in total yards, I'll share the tab with you guys. Let me share this. So this was the Colts here. Strawberry. For real, though, what are the Cowboys? I don't know, man. I'm surprised that they hired. Did you know that the Washington Commanders hired, and I'm sure you do, Brian Schneider as their special teams coach? What are you guys doing? Oh, my God. You guys are scraping the bottom of the barrel, man, which is crazy. I think he's the reason why Walter Payton doesn't have a touchdown in the Super Bowl. I remember that. I looked that up, that whole situation of him not getting that touch at the end of that Super Bowl. It really fucked with Walter Payton, and the other players did not like that. There's like a whole controversy of that. I do think it's bullshit. I don't remember the entire details of that situation, but I remember myself being relatively upset. So he's assistant special teams coach. He's not the coordinator. It said special teams coordinator. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure he's a special teams coordinator. Brian Schneider is. Pretty sure. All right, so it's Larry Izzo. So then you're right. Okay. The special teams coordinator is Larry Izzo. And then I guess he is assistant coach. I could have sworn I saw a I could have sworn I saw a thing where he says that he's a special teams coordinator. Yeah, it says right here, Red Zone says Commanders hiring. This is where I got this from. I'll share the tab with you guys. So 49ers Web Zone says Commanders hiring former 49ers special teams coordinator Brian Schneider. Oh, I must have read that wrong. Yes, I must have read that wrong. Okay. I read that wrong. That's my bad. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the defensive of the Colts real quick. I got it, Strawberry. Jeez. I heard you, man. You know what? Nah, man, he's the special teams coordinator. He's not the assistant. He's the special teams coordinator. All right, so let's take a look at this. Okay, Colts were in total defense. Where are they at? 29th in total defense. Yikes. Okay, were they good at anything though? Passing defense. See if they're good at anything. 26th in passing defense. Rushing defense. '24th. Scoring defense. 24th. This is not looking good. 23rd in red zone defense. Third down defense. What is he good at then, man? What else we got? 30th. E. That's brutal. But I guess also he's not the defensive coach. So that matters, right? Like he's not going to be involved with like ruining solid scheme. And for all we know, Gus Bradley could be doing other things that's not necessarily obviously affecting the defense of any kind. But looking at those stats and what he brings to the table, that's not exactly screaming like he's going to be some sort of guru. However, he's just an assistant. So it's not the end of the world, right? He wasn't the worst in the end. But if he just listens to Robert Saleh, takes Robert Saleh's advice, and just be the assistant, I can see that being fine. But if you want to look at his defense, it didn't exactly scream, we have two gurus at defense, right? To me, personally. So their defense started out better. Their offense put their defense in a really bad position. That's a good argument. That's not true. I mean, that is true. I mean, they didn't really have much for offensive situation there, so that could have been a problem. So I get that being a thing. But yeah, so we hired Gus Bradley. Did have very good defense, but Strawberry makes a good point that the offense last year wasn't very good. However, I guess it doesn't shout out like great hire, yeah, things of that nature. It doesn't do shit like that. However, it's a hire. It could be worse. Could have Nick Sorensen as defensive assistant, right? I don't think it's much different having Brandon Staley as an assistant if he were to stay. It doesn't. All I'm trying to say, it doesn't move the needle for me on anything. Right? I'm not critiquing it. I'm not going to say it's bad or whatever. It could be better in the end, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not thrilled. I was expecting him to be good at something that he could bring to the table, right? And that's based on what I saw in that little bit of research. But yeah, Strawberry says at least he's got experience. Yeah, he's got experience at least with that, and. Him and Saleh are great friends. I know that. I know that they work together, obviously, with what you saw based on what we saw there with Legion of Boom and stuff like that. I'm not saying like he's going to drag Saleh down or he's going to make things worse. I just don't think the needle moves anywhere. I don't think our defense just got better because we got Gus Bradley, if that makes sense. But I don't think we got worse. And that is true, Strawberry. Like, Gus Bradley has seen it all. Right. He still knows things. He knows how he probably would still be a good coach, but just maybe not a good defensive coordinator, like deal with the schemes or whatever. But he could probably coach up some players, and tell them how to play and where to be and how Saleh likes it and things of that nature. So at least there's that. So, all right, guys, I'm going to bounce. I appreciate you guys being part of this live. Val says a good show. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Strawberry, for being part of this live. I appreciate it, man. You came in with the facts, man. You supported the channel. I appreciate it. Jake, thank you so much for being part of the live as well. Big shout out to Papa J, man, for making my very first super chat. Thank you so much, man. I'm honored. I mean, it's my first time. I just lost my super chat virginity. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for being part of this. Thank you to Michael for being part of this live as well. You're awesome. Who else we got that came up in here? Val, thank you so much for being part of this live. I think I said what's up to you already, but I appreciate you. Who else do we got? There was someone else in here. Michael, Papa J. Oh my God. There was someone else. I swear to God. Steve-O, that's right. So Steve-O was in here. He thinks that I'm assuming he's saying that Lamar got snubbed. He's not happy about that. I respect it. I mean, if he won, I wouldn't have not been surprised. If he won, I would not have been surprised. But based on the just real quick, based on the argument that I heard from last year, makes sense for Josh Allen to win this year. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for being part of this journey. Thank you guys so much for making these lives what they are. Thank you so much for getting me to my officially being a YouTube partner. This is the first day of me being a YouTube partner. It's because of you guys. Thank you guys so much. I'm at the first tier. The next tier is where I'll be able to qualify for ads and etc. And that is because of you guys that I got here. And you guys make this experience enjoyable. You guys make this experience just fucking awesome. Okay. And at the end of the day, no matter how big this channel gets, I always remember you guys, what you guys done for this channel. And it's just a blessing. Right. And I actually get to do something I love. And it's because of you guys that I'm able to take this first step into being a YouTube partner. It's because of you. So thank you guys so much for being part of this. To everyone who watched this later, sub if you haven't subbed already. Because at the end of the day, no matter how big this channel gets, it's just about the conversation. No one's always right. No one's always wrong. We're just here to talk football because we love football. So be part of the Wolfpack. I would love for you guys to be a part of it. It'd be awesome. Like this live, because when you like this live, it puts the video out, it puts this content out, it helps me grow, helps us grow, helps the conversation grow. And of course, every single like makes my 49ers heart grow from here to here. All love, fam. I'll see you next video. Bang, bang, not a game.